I'm especially a big fan of his acoustic playing. And my first instrument as a child was piano.
Cool. Okay.
When I say a child, I mean like I started taking lessons when I was like in first grade.
Okay.
And did that for about 7 years. And at the end of that, I did a little over a year of jazz lessons with a guy in my hometown. And I was interested in all sorts of music from that time in my life. That included jazz and blues and rock and bluegrass and just acoustic folk music. But one of the biggest influences was the music of New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I didn't realize it, but a lot of the artists that I was listening to was from that area.
Okay.
As a child, I probably didn't even know what Louisiana or where Louisiana was.
Yeah.
But the first song that I ever sat down and sang and played on the piano was a Chubby Checkers tune.
Okay.
And I was really interested in the fiddle music from Lafayette and Doug Kershaw.
Yeah.
Later on, I was really interested in the Neville Brothers and the Meters.
Uh-huh.
And so maybe indirectly, jazz kind of finds its way into my music. But I think that people kind of assume that, it's an intentional thing because of a lot of the improvisation that I do on stage. But it's really just, years of development of just goofing around with stuff, and maybe it, comes out sounding like that. But I really consider myself an Americana folk, acoustic blues guy.
Well, the nice thing about the Americana label is it's such a big umbrella that a lot of this stuff can kind of fit under that. But reading through your bio page, I noticed that you had been part of a couple different jazz festivals over the years, and I just found that interesting just to understand how all of that fits together, especially on the new record. I love what you did with that, and you can really see the different influences all over that, including kind of that 70s. At one song almost kind of felt like a Pablo Cruz kind of song when it first started, and feeling that all arounded ness with this project. Is that kind of where you think you're headed with your music now? Is just this kind of soup of all of the things you've experienced?
Well, in a way, I mean, I really want to stick with doing what I do in the solo world right now, because I really enjoy the freedom of being on stage and essentially being able to just do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And for future projects, we plan on going down to Lafayette this year and making an album down there.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna start writing on the songs this winter, and we don't really have any players picked out except for one, Dave Nezat. He's a old friend of mine and a fantastic drummer. He used to play with Chubby Carrier back in the day, and he's played with a lot of successful bands around the Lafayette area, and consequently knows everybody there. So I'll write the songs, and we'll piece together a band. And I don't really have any way of predicting what it's going to sound like, but I just know there's so many fantastic players in that area.
Yeah.
That, my hope is that whatever we come up with is going to be different and interesting and fun to listen to.
when you get ready to write these songs, do you have bits and pieces that you've collected throughout the year, or do you literally just start from scratch when you sit down to put this together?
No, you're exactly right. It's like a collage. I've had different ways of writing songs over the last couple of decades, and even when I try different methods, I end up kind of using all of the methods at one time or another. But one thing I do is when I'm on the road and it's not really convenient for me to sit down and try and record ideas, I'll write ideas down, and I'll have several different groups of lyrics, and sometimes I'll notice that, hey, the first part of these lyrics work pretty well with the last part of this other, and kind of cut and paste things together, and then work with them until it makes sense. But for this next project, or two or three, I'll use that, or sometimes I intentionally sit down and write stuff if I've got an idea that's just really flowing, and just sometimes they drop out really fast. Then those songs are what they are. But there's several different methods of putting stuff together.
That's cool. So the current record, the one that just came out, is When I Rise, and came out late October. Where can people get that and get in touch if they want to find your tour schedule and that kind of thing?
Well, the easiest thing to do is go to my website, carymorin.com, and from there we have links to all the different sellers where you can get either hard copies or downloads or whatever you prefer. And my schedule is there and updated as well. And of course, we're on all the social media. If anybody wants to drop us a line and say hello, I'm always happy to hear from people.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks, Cary. It's been great. Enjoyed talking to you.
Thanks very much. I look forward to chatting again.
Thanks again for tuning in to this episode of Americana Music Profiles. Find us on iTunes at Americana Music Profiles and on the internet at AmericanaRhythm.com.